Morning, Patreon subscribers. So gold's very interesting because we've got a very strong technical box ahead. This is purely technical. It's just institutional buying and selling. White is selling and red is buying on the better volume. So we want to be paying attention to that. So two strong barriers overhead. We are a seller at the big picture. However, sentimentally over time, they are selling it. If they continue to sell it, then we're going to come into that box. But we're going to struggle in that box, and we'll certainly struggle up here. If we do by some miracle break that box 1947, then it looks like the SLC would be likely. I think for a trade idea today it would be perhaps to be patient and place an order to buy 1861, have a tight stop, or you could sell 1883 to target the stop loss cluster. However, if you were to sell it, you would be joining the herd in selling it, so you want to be a bit careful. So it might be better to place an order. If you wanted to sell it, then that could be a decent stop. It's quite tight. Yeah, 1882. So that's an idea. There's two suggestions you could do. I'm a bit worried about that. And also I'm worried about this because the profitable traders are long and they're holding long. So they might not be believing this fall. But the dumb money are selling it. So be careful. Perhaps a long there. And if you wanted to just dip in, you could sell it here, 1883, stop loss, to target the SLC. Dollar yen, now we pumped because there was quite a bit of news out from Japan. We have to wait and see what happens there. And so we really did rally a lot. We had a big open, we had a big gap at the open. This is NFP induced. One above is 132.50, one below is at 131.50. And weekly open is here. So longer term, look for an ATR long or an ATR short. Near term, target the stop loss clusters. So that's what you could do. If you've got a longer term view of the market, target there, or you can target down there. I'll perhaps be more tempted to sell because you've got the monthly pivot and ATR short. It's got a confluence there for a buy op. Potentially. A bit tricky. Let's have a look at your dollar Swiss. Don't forget we really pumped on Friday. And monthly pivot there. So that's probably worth noting. 92.17. One above is at 92.90. One below is miles away. And 90.50. And you can see why they've got their stops there. It's just below that low. 10 pips below the low. Weekly open, ATR short. So below monthly pivot, we can target that. And then that would be a nice little trade there. That's a possible scenario that you could do. Enter below monthly pivot to target ATR short. I'm not sure where your stop would be. That's the trouble. I'm not sure where you put your stop. But could be a good one to go for a short potentially. And that's that. So we have to remember the bubbles as well. And I think we'll look at the bubbles quickly. So this is the thing that we have to know is that there's a very strong chance of a rate hike, a 25 basis point hike. There's a very, very slim chance of no hike. And that was a lot larger before the NFP. So that's important to note. Bubbles. So let's have a look at the bubbles. Average bubbles. We've got hourly ones now. I'm not sure how good they are. We can maybe change that to 4 hour. So where's the dollar? Right, so it's down there. Yen is over here. Okay, so just so you know how the retail guys are, how they're exposed to their currencies. So they are short in dollar and they're long yen. They're long Kiwi and euro as well, and they're short pound. Okay, so that's of note. That gives you a bit of context as well. Where are we? So yeah, so the dollar is strong on the bubbles. So monthly pivot could be a good long for a stop there to target the SLC. Quite tricky. It could be that this was just like a little fake move, maybe, and because we know the dollar should be strong according to the sentiment. It's quite tricky. So maybe a long above monthly pivot on dollar Swiss. Gold is falling now. We've had some bearish activity on gold, which is fine because you think about it, the dollar is strong, right? So monthly pivot there, so 134.29, long term look there, weekly opens there. So as long as we've got weekly open, it's quite strong. We've got monthly pivot, that's going to be really strong. One below is at 133.80, and the one above is too far away. So I'll show you the cross dollar AU, and S&P has fallen as well. The S&P is down to 0.65%. So because that's fallen, it's going to be hurting high beta currencies such as the Aussie and Kiwi. These are riskier currencies versus the dollar. So if we're having risk off, this should perform poorly. And 70.25, wow, it's massive below 68.80. So this looks likely. Look how many stops are down here. Yeah, I think this is likely, isn't it? Especially if we go risk off today, which it looks like we are going to. 0.65 on the S&P, so quite bearish. And there's your monthly pivot there as well. Because we've got that, we probably should be targeting the SLC. EU, and yeah, so we've fallen on this as well, but they have gone long on euro. One below, 107.60, one above is 109.51. Monthly pivot break, then we'll target ATR short 106.71, which is quite bonkers really, because it looked quite strong for a while, didn't it? Then we had that NFP and it just like skewed things, and it's mostly fundamentals from this, sentimentally from this. So the retail guys are very counter trend, so we do want to be watching the bubbles. Keep an eye on this for your fundamentals, and that's that. So there's the logic for this to fall. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. And so that's that. So SLC 107.58 looks very likely now. Maybe have that because we've got monthly pivot. Maybe it can bounce there. So we've got double confluence. The Australian dollar looks more likely to probe stops because there's a lot more liquidity below. There isn't that much below an EU. GU, and I'm quite glad I didn't take the trade of the day today because I think that would be performing quite poorly. One above, 124.52, and below, 120.10. Weekly open. If we've got that, then we can target the ATR long. Below the weekly open, we can target the ATR shorts. But before we get to the ATR short, we've got monthly support, which is at 119.56. So I think the Aussie looks a bit weaker for everything, and we know that the USD should be strong sentimentally and fundamentally. You know, we can't really argue with that. It's the retail guys are normally counter trend and they lose a lot of money in their long USD, so they should get punished. Failure rate, yeah, they're getting punished 7 out of 7. So all the dollar crosses, they're getting punished, and they're getting most punished on the euro. So that's that. So hopefully it's okay. I'm a bit tired today, so maybe I need to have an early night tonight, but hopefully everything makes sense and you understand. But you can let me know if anything is confusing. I won't mind at all.